All right, welcome back everyone to the podcast. We're doing a series all about our alumni, part of the 10-year anniversary, and this is one more of our episodes, but this time featuring Cory Haberstock, part of our inaugural 2019 class from OPDD and a designer at Seirus Innovation.
Yes.
Thanks for being
Yep.
here.
Thank you, Chase. It's really honor to be back talking to you. It's been a
Well,
while.
it's always fun to talk to the class of 2019 because you were the guinea pigs.
We
What I want students who are going through the program now to understand is like what it was like when you came through. And I mean, so much of this program is really built off of what you and that initial group built. I mean, in so many ways, you all built the program. So it's especially fun for me to hear from you all and check in and see how you're doing. And I was fortunate enough to see you all like that first class graduate. So it's fun for me to reconnect and hear how you're doing. So thanks for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's happy to be here and an honor to be part of the program and even in hindsight,
Yeah.
we did have a lot of fun building it all together and I learned a ton. So I wouldn't be in my career now without it. So
Well, I want to go back and we talked a little bit about this off air, but how did you find the program? Like, how did you first hear about it and what led you to do the degree?
Well, funny enough, my dad graduated from Utah State like back in the late 70s. So that kind of keyed me into getting out to Utah State because we knew about it. He took us there on a ski trip. But he actually gets like the alumni magazine, for all these years. And one year there was an article about OPDD. It's like this new thing coming to be. And I was working at REI at the time and kind of wanted to work in gear design. And my dad just sort of like shoved it in my face. And at the time, I was just kind of just being a little bratty teenager. But figured out that this was probably a good move. So re-enrolled at Utah State and was part of that first class. So got there fall of 2015.
So you said re-enrolled. What were you studying the first time around?
Oh shoot, man. I was gonna do like mechanical engineering, but didn't place very well in the math placements. Probably just a lack of effort on that part, but I really was going for snowboarding, to be truthful.
Right. Yeah, I think you're in good company. I think and ever since like your cohort, we have so many students who maybe start in one major or kind of go engineering and then they find their way into design. I think a lot of people don't know design as a career, especially, your industrial design, what we'd call it now. That's like not a term people really understand or know or
Mhm.
not widely known. Even soft goods and apparel design, I feel like I think you have your image of like what fashion design looks like, but more
Right.
performance or, soft goods, apparel, gear, like that just isn't on people's radar and especially wasn't for a lot of us because it was a new program at the time. So,
Mhm.
why did you take the leap? I mean, especially did you have it in your mind that, oh, this is brand new, like there's going to be some
Um,
growing pains that come with that, or like what was your thought process going into like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this brand new program? That's a big leap.
Honestly, I think I didn't doubt it at all. I really, like I said, I was actually looking for an in to the industry in that kind of way because REI had programs where you could work your way up and become a manager and stuff. And I went to one of those meetings and asked, like, I don't really care about being a manager. What about gear design? And they said, I don't know, good luck.
Hmm.
And it must have been a month or two later that we came across this article. So it was kind of perfect timing for me. And
Yeah.
like I said, I maybe would have done engineering, but not very good at math. So it was kind of just the perfect step off point. And it was sort of at a crossroads too, where it's like, okay, dude, you gotta do something. You're getting
Yeah.
to be old enough where you need to be kind of on your own. So
Yeah.
I,
Well,
I, I was I was happy to take that leap,
yeah,
basically.
I think it's cool that you came in with the foundation of retail too. Were you on the retail side at
Oh yeah,
REI?
big time. Yeah.
Um, and this is something that we push even more now than ever is, even our design students, who may not think they need this, like we push them, go work at Al's, go work at REI, like understand the cycle of, sales cycle and merchandising and interacting with customers. Like, was that really helpful for you to come in with just like a base level understanding of like of product?
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially from the consumer mindset, because there's plenty of people that would be like, oh, I just want to do this so I can make my own gear. But really, you might be that customer at one point or another, but it's really more about who's going to buy it. You got to know what your market is. And if you're in that marketplace, whether it's an REI or an OWLs or something like that, you really get to see what people are gravitating towards and how these products and brands are being presented. So that really helped me understand a lot of that. And now working in the industry, I really think about that a lot. I mean, we go through many meetings throughout the year where I'm actually kind of like begging these reps to say, like, what is it that your customers are saying? And so to kind of wrap that up is when you're working on the floor, you're actually interacting with those customers. But then when you're working in a design office at some company, you really don't get that one-on-one interaction. So kind of being familiar with what it's like on the floor definitely helps you do well when you're in an office,
Yeah,
basically.
that's
Basically.
amazing. That's great.
Mhm.
Um, did you see yourself as a creative person going into the degree? I mean, you were interested in engineering, like were you kind of a maker? Like what experience did you have going into the program as it relates to like creativity or making, or did you have any?
I mean, yes, for sure. I always enjoyed like hands-on stuff, working on bikes. Like my senior project in high school was building a bike. I mean,
Hmm.
I put parts on a frame. I didn't like build a frame, um, but I was never like a fashion guy. And I think you kind of mentioned that earlier, where it's like I could care less about the aesthetics and what colorways and prints and stuff are going onto a product. But if it works, I'm all about it. And that's, I think, the biggest thing that was a draw for me is I was a user of, outdoor gear and equipment. So it just kind of made sense where it's like, maybe I could make this product better for whoever's out there trying to use it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think the conversations I have with the 2019 group are very different from the conversations I have with any other graduating class. Just because the program looked different and evolved a lot while you were here. I guess what are just the first things that come to your mind during your time in the program? Any specific memories come back to you when you think about that time?
Um, the portfolio, that was the big thing for me. I mean, good or bad. I kind of struggled with that at first. My first portfolio was abysmal. Um, and it was really important to be able to do that, or at least to be able to showcase something. Um, and luckily, I made something work and it still worked out in the end. I had a decent portfolio to get me a job, but um, I think just being able to showcase like your process and stuff was kind of something that I was taught. I didn't really know about that prior. So,
Right. What kind of products did you want? I think you mentioned this briefly, but what kinds of products were you hoping to make while you were in the program? And then like maybe a part two to that question is like where were you hoping the degree would take you? Did you have a specific kind of job or company in mind?
yeah,
As you
I mean,
worked?
the biggest thing that I wanted to do was work in like a soft goods situation, but instead of apparel, more accessories. So like backpacks and um, other sort of body worn equipment, but not like clothes. So honestly, like Dakine would have been an amazing job. I honestly wanted to work for REI too, but that's a bigger corporation. Honestly, nowadays I don't really know if that's where I'd want to be. But oddly enough, I ended up in Seirus and we make gloves and face accessories, and it's kind of exactly what we do. And I have worked on some projects that sort of align with that, like pack making stuff too. So worked out well.
Yeah, well, and especially early in the program, there was a real strong focus on the soft goods and time in the sewing lab. And
Mhm.
what was that experience like for you? Like, had you sewn before?
Yes, my mom, big seamstress. She's super creative. So, to answer your question before, is yes, I had a lot of creative influences in my life, and she taught me how to sew when I was a young kid, and it didn't stick really much. But when we actually were doing stuff like we made like a tote bag, a duffel bag, and then eventually like a backpack. Those kinds of things were great. I mean, they weren't like super sophisticated products that we sewed, but still was. It translated well for me. I understood what we were doing, and it made sense.
That's
Made
great.
made it fun.
Um, do you, I've had this question for a few people. Are there memorable studio moments that you have, or late night prototyping disasters, like highs or lows? Like, did you have any highs or lows that stick in your mind?
Luckily, no crazy like disasters. The
No
best,
all-nighters in the sewing
I,
lab?
I definitely had some late nights, not necessarily in the sewing lab. I would go there for some stuff, but I try to wrap that up just so that I could get back to my place, have dinner or whatever. Fiance at the time, she was hanging out, waiting for me. But being up late, walking outside, and it's dumping snow, and it's just like, all right, man, this is cool. I mean, Logan's such a great place for that kind of stuff. But probably the funniest thing that wasn't a very good experience, and luckily it didn't happen directly to me, but my partner in like our senior studio, we made some hammocks and we set them up to take pictures and like do all this stuff to, make our final presentation. He sits in his, and it hits the ground and it rips a huge hole in it, and he just falls straight through the bottom of it. And it's like, dude, that's your final project. Like, what are we gonna do? You just spent $50 on fabric and it's totaled basically. So that was a funny moment. Again, I feel for him. I hope that he still got a good grade. I'm sure he did, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
never
I'm
know.
sure he turned out just fine. I think the other thing I wanted to just kind of dig into a little bit, and we haven't talked about this with anyone else, is like the origin of the student association. Like,
Ah,
weren't
yes.
you kind of weren't you a founding, like a big driver behind the creation of it was the Outdoor Industry Student Association?
Yep, yeah, OISA. Yeah. Yeah, that was a big project, honestly. I think that we bit off a lot more than we could chew on that one with our ambitions. We wanted to have all these different categories of executives, and I mean, we were trying to make a whole business. And it was super fun. And it definitely gave me a lot of opportunity to like be a leader and practice that. But um, it's sort of a shame because it sort of did fall apart there, like in those last couple of years. Just interest waned, and some of the key players that helped me start it, they didn't stick around in the program. So it sort of turned into like, well, I don't really know how to do some of this stuff anymore. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's not necessarily a regret, but I do feel bad.
Yeah, no, but I think a good experience because you also got to interface with the Outdoor Industry Association, right? And this was like
Yes.
the student chapter of that, which didn't exist before. Again, like I think so much of this goes back to like you all were like creating something that didn't exist before, which, up from on the industry perspective, like the Outdoor Industry Association still, like to this day, doesn't have like a student chapter,
Yeah.
and like a lot
Yeah.
of other associations, like if you go like the Industrial Designers Society of America, they
Hmm.
have student chapters, So
Sure.
I
Yeah.
think so much of what you were trying to do and what the faculty at the time, like we were all just building something that had never been done before, which I think a credit to you all for doing that and creating something like a student club, more than a
Hmm.
student club, right? Like an industry student association is really, really amazing. So
Yeah, we got ourselves pro deals and stuff. That was a highlight. That was the thing that everybody wanted. And when we actually did land that, it was like, all right, we got something going on
yeah,
here.
I still see those OISA little tags that you had as well
Oh yeah, yeah.
that you all would sew into products. Like I think I have my OISA membership card somewhere around
Oh
here
my gosh.
because we
Wow,
would
I
both
wonder
make
if I
member
still have I
cards. Yeah,
I know I have some of the tags, but they're buried in my closet with
yeah,
all the other fabric I
yeah.
never touch anymore. But
So it lives on in our hearts. So
yeah, I wore the t-shirt the other day if it's any
oh, there you
consolation.
go. Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious post well, anything else like during your time in the program, like memories, people. Oh, actually, this is a question I usually ask is a key class. Is there a key class that sticks out in your mind that
Oh
maybe you
man.
think about or um
Yeah, I mean, other than the studio classes where we kind of got to do whatever we want, that was super awesome. But Shawn Michaels' history class was so awesome. He was just so engaging, and he brought his outdoor or overland truck in. We got to climb around in it, and he was always having really great stories with the examples. And that was like one of the first classes I really took that was like, this is sweet, man.
yeah.
I loved that. So
That's a
shout
first
shout out Shawn
introduction.
Michael.
Yeah, shout out Sean. That's an early introduction for a lot of people, and he still does that. He did the Overland showcase this last
Hmm.
semester and brought in a bunch of friends who had vehicles and did the same thing. He just kind of keeps evolving and growing that class. So that's
That's
great.
great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I still follow him on Instagram, so I see him traveling around, and
Yeah.
I definitely cherish the days that I ran into him at like Beaver or Cherry Peak, and actually got to take some laps with him. That was super cool.
Yeah.
So
Well, and you also got to do some internships or an internship while you were in the program, right? Like in the
yes,
board making side of things. Do you want to touch on that? Because I think that's such a
yeah,
unique opportunity.
absolutely. Yeah, Jeremy Jensen, he actually works for Utah State in like the media department. He runs this sort of, I mean, grassroots. It's literally the name of the brand, grassroots pow surfing, um, snowboard company, bindingless snowboards. And that was my internship. I think we did like 50 or 80 hours of just, I mean, I did a lot of like sticking stickers on boards and cutting foam to be made into boards, but yeah, we did hands-on experience. The best part though that was sort of a twist on maybe what the internship should have been, but we did a lot of like field work, like marketing photos and videos and stuff like that. But he took me out in the backcountry countless days on his snowmobiles. We were out there sunrise to sunset, taking photos and videos and all kinds of stuff. And honestly, great experience. And honestly, Jeremy is going to be a lifelong friend because of it. So definitely looking forward to getting back to Logan just to run into you guys, but then also, go do some snowboarding.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, well, and it's so unique to have that in your town. Like having someone making
Right.
boards like that, you don't have that everywhere. So we feel lucky to have them nearby.
Yeah. Yeah. And Jeremy's special because he's been doing it forever. And he makes the claim that he's the first one to make like the first pow surf brand. And he kind of is. Like there's other companies that have come out and made them, but he's just got so many different shapes and models and um pretty cool, especially because I just randomly met him through the skate shop. And then I just was like, dude, I need an internship. Can I work for you? And he's like, sure, why not? This little Grom wants to do something.
Yeah,
So worked out well.
that's awesome. Well, with that, I want to talk a little bit about life after Logan and college to career.
Mm.
Well, for you, it seemed relatively seamless, and maybe it didn't feel that way in the moment. But what was that transition like, going from like capstone, senior exhibit, showcasing your work to like jumping into this job that you've had since graduation?
Yeah, it's funny because I was applying for jobs leading up to like that senior exhibit. And then the day of the senior exhibit, I get a call for an interview. And I just packed everything up. I was ready to bring it all back to my place. And I got an interview. It went great, it was kind of wild. So I think it was day of graduation, the actual VP called me and said, like, let's get you down to San Diego. So it pretty much was right away, but I hadn't gotten the final word until after walking and stuff. So I was a little, okay, what's the next step? But yeah, Seirus is down in San Diego, and truth be told, I had never been to San Diego, and I'm a mountain guy. I'm not like a beach guy, so it was a kind of a stretch for me to like want to move down there. But they were offering a job and money, and an opportunity to work in the industry, so I took it, and at first it was pretty stressful because they had me going right away, and I was just like so green. I didn't know up from down basically, and luckily had some good people on my team. The VP Bob Murphy is just such a good dude. He's like my dad's age, so kind of got that sort of dad vibe thing going on. Um, and it was tough at first, but then honestly, once like COVID happened, I it made it a lot easier because I could work from home. I didn't feel like I had somebody right over my back the whole time, just like double checking my work the whole time. And then yeah, and now here we are 6 years later. So and some products in the books at one point or another. Some of them didn't really stick in the marketplace, but some of the ones we got coming out this fall, I think they're really gonna hit. So excited for that.
That's awesome. Oh, that's great. How long do you feel like it took for you to get comfortable or feel like you kind of knew your role? And I'm sure like
Oh,
every day you're learning new things, but like
yeah.
how long do you feel like
Oh.
it took for you to kind of get your feet under you?
Oh man, honestly, kind of a long time. It was probably like 2 or 3 years. And honestly, that's sort of what my manager at the time told me. He said, like, don't worry if you're not getting it right now. They've even told me it takes a couple of years just to like figure out the timeline, because it's a whole year that we go through. Um, so yeah, it kind of took a while. And even now, I think I got it pretty dialed, but there's still so many things that I could be better about. just like I said earlier, like I'm not really a fashion guy. I'm actually like working on putting prints into instructions like these days, and it's like I don't really care about these, but they are important to the marketplace. So,
Yeah,
if I could learn a little more about that, I think that would be a big benefit to me.
that's awesome. Do you let's see. Do you have any advice for students today? I know the program looks very different, but I'm sure there's like things that you're doing in industry that you wish you would have maybe taken advantage of in the classroom more. Like what comes to mind for you if you were to share any advice?
Certainly, don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Like, just do something that is out of your comfort zone. Like, it's maybe you want to do like packs and gloves or something, but you do have the opportunity to do like apparel or something. Like, I would do whatever you think is harder or like not exactly what you want to do because truth be told, work a lot of the times is something you don't really want to do. And along with that, just like being really organized, like being organized with your files, file name structures, having like spreadsheets to help like keep track of your time and tasks and stuff like that. Um, and th those would be the things that I had to pick up a lot on the job, like tracking lists of projects and stuff. Um, but then, and I actually talked to Julie about this, and this was something that I don't even know if you guys have the ability to do this, but we did all of our prototyping in-house at OPDD. But then I get into the industry, everything that we're doing is overseas. So learning how to like interact with like an overseas partner, like through email and or phone or WeChat, whatever, and then understanding like the timeline of how that sampling process works, that was super foreign to me. And, I kind of got it figured out now, but I mean, it takes like a month and a half to get a sample back. So
Yeah.
you got to know how to design without having a physical prototype.
Yeah.
Um, so that was kind of a tough thing for me
Yeah,
those
I would
first few
love to
months.
figure out how to replicate that. That'd be a great experience for students.
Yeah, whether it's like part of your student fees or something like that. It's a problem is it costs money,
It
It's like
does.
you can't just request a sample and then not
Yeah.
order anything. So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Well, Corey, thanks for taking time. This has been just super fun to hear how you've been. I mean, I haven't seen you in a long time, so it's good to
Hmm.
just catch up and hear that you're well. And I'm just glad things are going well. So thanks for sharing a little bit about your experience.
Absolutely, Chase. Yeah, anytime. Glad that we could catch up and hopefully we'll see you at OR or at Utah State again here soon.
Come up to Logan sometime. That'd be
I
great. Yeah,
I'll
come
be sure
board
to
up
hit
here.
you up.